Hey, quick question. Have you started building the list? Not a list, the list. Your list. If you're going to be in sales, and we're all kind of in sales, but if you're going to be in sales, you have to have the list. You have to have your list, which you love and nurture and take care of for as long as you shall live. Well, for as long as you shall be in sales. So let's talk about what's involved with your list. Welcome to episode 12 of the Cheeky Sales Coach. So what is a list? Obviously, today's word of the day is list. So the list, when we're talking about the list, we're talking about the big list, the master list, the big collection of the most important clients and prospects that you have. Some of these have been doing business with you for quite a while. Some of them are pretty new to you. If you have a cold list, that's a list, but it's not the list. So here are 6 or 7 things you need to know about the list, about your big list. Thing number 1 is obvious. So thing number 1 is you gotta have a list. Somewhere, somehow, you need to keep track of the big list. And if you don't have it, you have to get one. And I know this sounds basic and obvious, but I have to tell you, I give a lot of advice to a lot of people. But this is one of the most important and yet most ignored pieces of advice I have ever given. I have probably given this advice to well over 1,000 people who have ignored it. And many of them come back to me 5, 10 years later and say, "Oh, I really wish I'd have built my list." Well, here's the thing. You can always start. If you don't have a list, literally, I want you to have a list by the time this video is over. That's how important the list is. If you start building a list, then you've got it forever. The thing is, you have to first start by getting started. Now, how do you start a list? Thing number 2, you start a list with the contacts you have today. What are the contacts you have today? It might be, and this, again, I've had this conversation so many times I can't tell you. You might have a box full of all the business cards you've ever collected. Why did you collect them? Well, because you were going to do something with them someday. That's today. Today is the day. Go get yourself a scanner. For under $100, you can get a card scanner on Amazon that works with whatever your operating system is. Windows, Apple, doesn't matter. And I want you to take those cards and I want you to scan them into the system. Now, if you have a little extra energy or a little extra money, then you or someone that you hire can go on LinkedIn and verify that all that information is up to date. But even if you don't do that, you should at least get into your system the information that you have. The fact that you've got those cards, you need to scan them in, make them electronic, and then throw away the paper cards. Put them in the recycling bin. Now you've got a place to start. And it may be old, outdated information. It may be that 20, 30, 40% of it is bad information. That's okay. At least you've got something. You have to start, right? It's like anything else in your life. If you don't start, well, you're just not going to finish. So get started with the list. Now here's what happens very frequently is people know that they should build a list, but they don't actually get around to it. So please do yourself a favor and do it today. Thing number 3, where do you store your list? Again, I kind of almost don't care as long as you do store it, and I kind of like you to store it electronically. The easiest place for most of us to store that list is in Excel. And I say that simply because A, everybody's got access to it. If you don't have Excel, just pay Microsoft a few pennies a month and you'll get Excel. It's included in all of the Office packages. And it allows you to have an unlimited number of contacts on your computer for nothing. Right? You don't have to pay any extra no matter how many contacts you have. If you go online and you buy into a contact management system, that's cool. I have nothing against that. Just know that those things go up and up and up in price depending on how many contacts you have. Some of them say they're unlimited, but then when it comes time to do stuff, you find out, oh, I can have unlimited contacts. I just can't use them without paying extra money. I have one system for a certain group of my prospects, and I've got a different system for others. So you can have one that's online and one that's offline. I have one that I pay $29 a month, so I can have an unlimited number of contacts specifically to manage the sales process for those contacts. I have another list where basically I pay constant contact so that I think I have up to 20,000 contacts at this point. And that's so that I can email them on a regular basis. So that costs me a good chunk of change. But the point is, you don't have to start by spending money. You can start by putting them into Excel and keeping a very simple database that is the standard fields: name, company, address, phone number, blah, blah, blah. But start with something. The fourth thing I want to tell you about lists is that you will begin to divide your list once you get to a certain point. One easy division is that you will have current clients and you will have hot prospects. Following that, you may have warm prospects or people that fall kind of in the category of acquaintances, but not really prospects. And then you have seriously cold prospects. So cold prospects are somebody handed you a card at a party 5 years ago. You never did anything with it. You never followed up. If you saw them today, you may or may not recognize them. They won't recognize you, and they will have no idea who you are because you didn't follow up back at the beginning. It's okay. All sins are forgiven immediately and forever when it comes to building lists, because you have to be able to start over today. So do that. Thing number 5, you have to clean your list. You have to clean your list on a regular basis. Well, what does that mean? Okay, cleaning your list means, for example, if you do a mailing, if you pay first class postage, then the post office will return it to you for free and give you a corrected address if they have one. But if you do a bulk mailing, then they're going to throw all those away if they have bad addresses, so you're never going to know unless you pay for address service. And even then, they really want you to have a good list. So there's companies that will go through and look and verify that your addresses are correct. But there's also companies that will verify that email addresses are correct, that LinkedIn is correct, and so forth. These things cost money. There are many services that you can have done for cheap or free. You just have to figure out ways to do it. You can also just, from time to time, go ahead and delete bad contacts. Personally, I remove from my list anyone who has not opened an email in a year. Some people say, oh, never throw that data away. Okay, well, I don't throw the data away, but I take them off my list because they are so cold that they might as well be dead, right? They're literally never going to buy. So if they're never, ever, ever going to buy, I want to maintain, part of how I maintain my list is I make sure that the names on it are good. I know people, this is no exaggeration, I know more than one person who has huge lists, bigger than mine, 40, 50, 60,000 contacts, but literally 35, 40% of them are either out of business or dead. And I have no idea why they think that's still a valuable piece of information to keep. In my mind, your list is useful because you can use it to make sales. You can use it to communicate with your clients and prospects. So if they're not real and they're not really even, room temperature, you should get rid of them as far as I'm concerned. Number 6, and perhaps the most important thing for you to remember about your list, you should be building your list all the time. When you go and talk to any group, even 6 people, I don't care how small the group is, you should have a handout that has your name and your address and your contact information at the bottom. You should tell people, make sure you sign up for my newsletter. You should have a newsletter sign up or a list sign up on every web page, every blog, everything you do. Even on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, your major page should have your information so that people can sign up to be on your list. I think it's huge to have a giveaway, a standard thing. For example, for IT consultants, I have the 68-point checklist. So no matter where you are, anywhere in the world, if you Google 68-point checklist, you're going to find my checklist. And so I want people to find that. And I think maybe out of the top 10, there's one thing on that list that's not my 68-point checklist. The rest of it is people reposting my list, the list for sale, the list for download, right? It's everywhere. And so people go and get that and they go, I wonder about this guy. I wonder if I should find out more about him. And so then they look for me, they get to one of my websites, they sign up for my mailing list. Similarly, I give stuff away all the time. When I give something away, I do that in exchange for an email address. So you agree to be on my mailing list and you can get off at any time because that's the law. But we start with you on my mailing list, and that way you get the Relax, Focus, Succeed newsletter. If you're in IT, you get the IT newsletter, right? I'm building the list, building the list. You need to always be building your list for several reasons. Number 7 is the most important. But before we get to that, you need to be building your list because your list is going to deteriorate. Remember, entropy is one of the laws of the universe. Everything left to its own accord will start to fall apart. That includes your mailing list, right? So you have to keep building your lists just to stay even. Especially, for example, when I'm recording this right now, we're in the middle of a recession. So 25, maybe 30% of your prospects could disappear in a recession. So you have to be building your lists just to stay even with the number of people who are going to drop off. Some people will drop off not because they go out of business, but because they move. They got a different phone number. They got a different email address. They took a different job, so they still could buy something from you, but it would be with a different company. So doesn't matter. You got their name, but you've now lost their contact information. So constantly cleaning, constantly updating that list, constantly building that list is huge. So number 6 is the most important thing. Build that list, build that list, build that list. And no matter what you have, even if today you have 12 names on that list, you can have 50 in a month, you can have 100 in a couple of months, you can have 1,000 by the end of the year, you can have 10,000 in 10 years. Right? So whatever you need to get to, you start with what you have and you begin to build from there. So that is absolutely the most important thing. But very close behind that is number 7. Your list has value over time. And there's a couple of different ways that your list brings value. The most obvious thing is you can sell to those people. This is your list of customers and prospects. The easiest place for you to make a sale is with your existing customers, followed by people who know you, like you, trust you because they've been receiving a newsletter for a long time. Your list allows you to build that newsletter. And so that brings value. So right now I can tell you, I literally send out a newsletter and the clicks go to my websites. My cash register rings. I get class registrations. I recently had a vendor tell me that every single time I send an email on their behalf, their cash register goes crazy. So my list has value because now, in addition to selling to the people on the list, I can use that list to sell services to people who want to reach my audience. The third obvious way is that there are people who are outside your industry who may see that if your list is big enough that you are an influencer, and so they want to talk to you. They want to have you on webinars. They want to, engage you in a discussion and help you to actually become more well-known, which helps you to grow your list. So no matter what you're doing, always be building that list. Hey, if you found this useful, interesting, or maybe just a little bit fun, please like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. For the Cheeky Sales Coach, this is Karl Palachuk, wishing you the best in everything you do. Call to action. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you won't miss a thing.